The back row? Who's in the back? Good evening.
Good evening, Council. My name is Camille Napolitano. I do not have their credentials, nor do I have their statistics. I support all of you. But I'm sorry?
I didn't hear it. Can I have your name and hometown?
My name is Camille Napolitano. I am a resident of Old Bridge.
Thank you.
However, I do have a personal experience I would like to share. I used to have 2 dogs. I now have 3. I came upon the 3rd dog because I walked into a Petland store and I saw them bringing this little dog down to the basement. And I asked the owner or whomever the employee was, what's going on with that dog? It looked like some kind of Shorky mix or whatever. And they said, well, we can't sell this dog because this dog has a dew claw. But we can give it to you for a reasonable price, but we are unable to sell it. Now, I ask you, I mean, just a stupid little thing like that I have this dog for 8 years, and I'm speaking for all the animals. I'm not a crazy dog person or bird lady or anything like that. But I have a personal experience that if you had like a hangnail or something, would you want to be judged because of that? So I'm not going to take up the whole 3 minutes, but I'd really like you to consider what everyone's asking you here to not do in our township, because I'd also like to use this forum that I initiated 2 years ago, a Facebook page. I know many of you are not pleased with Facebook, but I use it as a forum for lost, found, adopt, foster animals of Old Bridge and surrounding areas. And I implore all of you to join it, so that if you see that dog walking the street because it was abandoned, that you go there and maybe we could rehome under the right conditions. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
My name is Steve Emberg from Middlesex Borough. Despite what you've heard tonight, there are no ethical breeders who supply puppy stores. The laws and regulations, as you've heard, are hopelessly outdated, and the inspections are even worse. Every bred dog sold equals a dead dog in a shelter due to lack of space. Even though Old Bridge right now may have a little bit of space, in general, most shelters are overflowing. Dogs and cats are not commodities. When they are given up or turned away by the people who buy them from pet stores, they become burdens to the rescue groups and shelters, and we're already out of space. My organization has I don't know how many dogs came from Petland, but I'm sure we've done several hundred that we've taken in because of various reasons. And that's not the way they should be treated. You've heard a lot of empty promises and falsehoods tonight from the people who think that dogs should be commodities. They only care about their profit. And I can tell you, over 20 years of experience that I've had tells me what the truths really are. Unfortunately, you've heard a lot of them. And the last point I'd like to make is that in these 20 plus years I've been doing this work, I see that there's a sexist component to it. Men make the profits and women do a lot of the rescue work, and they become the caregivers. It's an important issue to consider, because women are bearing an unnecessary burden of caring for animals because of so many men who want to make profit off of the animals.
My name is Tatiana. I live in our police meeting here tonight. I live by the Jersey Shore.
Where are you from?
I come from Brick, that's by the Jersey Shore. But I think this is a very important cause. That's why I came here. And my story is very different from everybody else. I come from South America, and over there I rescued many stray dogs from the street. But coming to the United States, I had no idea what a puppy mill was. So I walked into a pet store for the first time, and I fell in love with a puppy. But that puppy came home very sick. I had no idea. And I paid a lot of money for that puppy. And he came with a kidney failure. He didn't last very long. And I would like to make everybody aware where those dogs come from. They look very healthy, but nobody knows their past. So the public needs to be aware where they come from. They are sick because puppy mills don't take good care of them. They don't worry about those puppies. Good breeders do, shelters do. Now I have another dog that I adopted from a shelter. So that's what I wanted to share with you tonight. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I was over there, fiance Jackie Rush, we came all the way from Society down the block over there. You guys actually came to my house and told me you guys, as a homeowner, young homeowner, I should get involved. Well, thanks a lot. So, I'm here because I heard about this pet store being open through the Old Bridge Residence page. I wasn't even aware that someone went to high school with Tom Gallo over here, who's the man behind it. Because I saw all these extremely negative posts about this puppy mill being open, and I was when I said, I'm opening the store, I was shocked to hear it was the same one. So I asked him all the points that these people brought up on the Facebook page, and he gave me list for list context of everything they're telling you. It's very hard to do this right now. These professionals, they're to their own, what they said themselves. They go from town to town doing this. They've done this 100 times. They know exactly how to do this. I'm a plumber. This is new to me. So you gotta, oh, okay, 2 minutes. So, all I can tell you is that I looked at the post while sitting back there, they put on. I paged about 7,000, almost 8,000 people, 7,000 something. 6 people liked their post. 6 people. That's not, this room isn't representing what's going on out there. And if you have the context of the internet of these claims, he talks about how that when you open up a pet store, it doesn't stop the sale of pets through pet stores. And this woman will come to dispute that, but then she conflates it by saying, well look, the adoption number rises, so he was wrong. He never talked about adoption numbers, he talked about pet store sales. That's what he was talking about, but they conflated the two and made you seem like they made a wrong statement. That was not the case, at all. Secondly, we want to buy a dog. We were going to do it, we want an ethical way to do it. She wants a Yorkie, and trust me, there's no getting her to change her mind about a shelter dog. She wants a Yorkie. So whether he opens it or not, we've been waiting for it, but we're going to get it one way or the other. And we just want a safe and ethical way to do this. Give us that opportunity. That's like shutting down the Whole Foods, but letting the ShopRites and the AMCs go by. Give us a place that's going to educate consumers of how to do it the right way, and not, see, they could scoff from behind me. They had a whole row of people, an hour, to talk against them. It's not the right way to defend your position. These are real stories, real context. I urge you all, you're not going to have the time tonight, but everything they give you to look up to a few different points, please read it. Please take the time, like I did here, my fiance did. I had to go out of work tonight. I work nights. I took the time out for this. Please do the same. And for the woman who claimed that was the Mennonites and Amishmen that run these puppy mills, that must have been some horse and buggy ride you took to get here from Missouri. I gotta tell you. Oh my God. Thank you so much for your time. And have a good night, everybody.
Can I start? My name is Cindy Knowles. I'm the owner of Ferrylicious in Morehouse Station, New Jersey. I believe earlier today...
Where do you live?
I live in Tewksbury, New Jersey. Tewksbury, yep. I believe earlier today we did send some emails because we know you were getting bombarded by these people that just don't stop. I'm sure you saw some of the beautiful things that I sent, the video I sent, and other things that we do and how we go out and see our breeders. I've been in business 9 years. It's a second business for me. I was in technology for 23 years, and when selling that business, I got into this business for just the sheer love of it. It's thriving. We grow month after month, year after year. I have people coming in for their beautiful, healthy puppies. They come in for their first puppy. They come in for second puppies. They come in for third puppies and fourth puppies. We have excellent veterinary oversight. I happen to be a financial backer in my brother's veterinary practice. aside from my brother being a veterinarian, I have a wonderful veterinary clinic right down the road from us that does a fabulous job. And in fact, I sent over the letter from our serving veterinarians. We've been harassed for years by these people. For instance, they go out on social media. My brother's a 30-plus year exemplary veterinarian in the state of New Jersey. He's been practicing. They find out that my brother is my brother, and what do? They post on Facebook that he's falsifying veterinary health certificates. This is what they do. They just make this stuff up. My brother doesn't even do the veterinary health certificates in my store. So they harass, they downplay, come into my store, see how beautiful it is. We have people come in every day. I try to rescue. They don't have the puppies I'm looking for. They make it so difficult. We get people come in every day that are being scammed on the internet. They come in, they're losing money. They say, I'm so glad we found you because now I can meet the dog, I can talk to you, I have full consumer protection. Have any of you done your homework and know what the state laws are right now, what the regulations are in place? I sell a sick dog. I'm liable for up to 2 times the cost of that dog. If a veterinarian finds an unfit situation with one of my puppies, I'm on the hook. You have hundreds of rescues running around unregulated in this state. There's Home for Good Rescue right now that is up on charges for falsifying health records.
Thank you.
And they go on.
Hi, Jill DeCaro, I'm an Elbridge resident, and I'm not a professional. I was not forced to come here tonight, so I just wanted to clarify that. I decided to speak tonight because to remain silent would be a disservice, and I'm reading really fast because I only have 3 minutes. I thought I was going to have 5. I decided to speak tonight because to remain silent would be a disservice to the thousands of dogs kept in less than adequate care and bred over and over again in USDA-licensed commercial breeding facilities. These facilities are only required to meet the minimum requirement for basic life of dogs. I will not stand quiet as long as there are voiceless animals in need of my voice. Ever since I can remember, pet stores have concerned me, even when I was too young to understand why. Growing older, I learned where these puppies come from. The problem is not with the pet store themselves, because oftentimes they are staffed by animal-loving employees with true concern for their well-being. Be that as it may, they all know the truth about where these puppies are coming from. I'm sure they feel as if they are doing their part to at least help these puppies have a good life, but I cannot speak for those people. Who I can speak for are the mamas and the papas in the commercial breeding facilities who are bred over and over again until they are of no use. Then I ask you, what do you think happens to those dogs? In trying to have an intelligent civil conversation on this topic the other day, I was told that it's too late to do an ordinance, and that even if we do it, it won't affect this store. The following are townships that passed and upheld an ordinance where existing puppy-selling pet stores exist without any lawsuits. Washington Township, Edgewater, Fairlawn, Brick Township, Cherry Hill, and Kearney. I've been told instead of going after this business, I should go after the puppy mills themselves, and that somehow my concern is invalidated if I don't have first-hand knowledge of the horrors that these animals experience. Apparently, I was told there are so many issues and problems going on that I should just leave this business alone, because this is America and anyone can open a business if they want. While this is true, this is America, and as an American, I will speak up and speak out for what I believe, and I will never remain silent because I have a voice, and these animals do not. I also had separate conversations I want to add with other council members, Mrs. Brown and Mr. Merman, and I want to thank you for listening with open ears and open minds and trying to offer your positive feedback. Lastly, I'm looking at my time. All right, I only have 35 seconds, but I'd like you to reference Joaquin Phoenix's speech last night. He made a very poignant and relative speech to what he said last night regarding equality. Now, I just want to end with, let us think about where we want to be in this discussion and where we want our legacy to be. Please pass this ordinance because there is no right way to do the wrong thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Stephanie Earl. I'm also with Furrylicious. I live in Bridgewater, New Jersey. I don't really know where to start, but one of the things that I think is incredibly disingenuous by the activists who are here tonight is that they worked to get legislation passed in 2015, which is the current Pet Purchase Protection Act, that required us that we only buy from USDA breeders. We, at the time, we were fairly new and we're a very small boutique at the time. We happened to be working with a number of small local breeders. And to say that no responsible breeder would sell to a pet store is simply nonsense. We have many, many good breeders, both commercial USDA breeders and at the time small local hobby breeders. So we are no longer able to buy from a local small hobby breeder. They said that you can only buy from USDA licensed breeders because those are the only ones that are regulated, and hobby breeders, there is no regulation for. Now those are the breeders that everybody should be going to for their puppies. Even Senator Lesniak, the sponsor of the bill, said, and he testified in the Senate Budget and Appropriations Committee, I think it was, that USDA breeders are not puppy mills. USDA breeders are what we're going to sanction for pet stores in New Jersey to buy from. So basically you have a bunch of rescue-only people who want to continue to monopolize the pet marketplace. They don't want us to have a choice, or any other consumer to have a choice as to where to get their puppy. They only want people to be able to go to a shelter or rescue. And interestingly enough, I researched a couple of years back when they were looking at doing sourcing bans that would only allow us to buy from shelters and rescues, potentially in the state of New Jersey. So I reached out to a number of shelters, large and small, around the state of New Jersey, and did not get a single rescue or shelter that said that they would be able to work with me and supply dogs to me. So when Brian Hackett says the HSUS will work with you to provide shelter dogs to you, that is not true. And this is what I heard back from the Monmouth County SPCA. They said, thank you for reaching, and I'll just quickly abbreviate, but thank you for reaching out to our organization in search of smaller, family-friendly, child-friendly, and non-aggressive dogs. Unfortunately, we too are in search of these temperament dogs that are also young and small, and we seek out these ourselves by reaching out to the southern rescues and shelters. We struggle to keep a constant supply of these puppies for our adopters, as we even pay the rescues and shelters to give us these dogs in addition to paying the transport fees to bring them here. Unfortunately, we would not be able to supply you with these dogs that you are requesting, as it would take away from our supply we struggle to find.
Thank you.
I'm Maria Cuccinello from Marlborough. I'm here to read a letter from Ed Sayers, who is the Director of Animal Welfare Education. My name is Ed Sayers. Unfortunately, I am unable to be here tonight in person. I have dedicated the past 46 years working to improve the welfare of companion animals. From 2003 to 2013, I served as a president of the ASPCA in New York City. I began my career in animal welfare in New Jersey in 1974 as a shelter manager at St. Herbert's Animal Welfare Center. I became their CEO in 1981 and led the organization until 1995. In 1983, I chaired a committee for the New Jersey Department of Health to create legislation for the first state-subsidized spay and neuter program in the United States. Dog overpopulation is now regional, breed-specific, size-specific, and age-specific. Demand for dogs now far exceeds the number of dogs in animal shelters. The American Veterinary Medical Association Sourcebook estimates that New Jersey residents will acquire between 100,000 to 120,000 puppies and dogs this year. Approximately 27,000 dogs will be available for adoption from New Jersey shelters. In New Jersey, demand for dogs far exceeds the number of homeless dogs available for adoption. Currently, 49% of owned dogs are purebred and 51% are mixed breed. The high demand for purebred puppies has created a growing black market for unlicensed, substandard breeders to sell through the internet. Craigslist, flea markets, and public fairs. Puppy mills thrive in this growing unregulated marketplace. The retail pet store is now the most regulated source for the acquisition of a new dog. The retail pet store can identify when and where the dog was bred, the breeder's kennel environment and standards of care, and how it was transported to the store. I have been speaking out against retail pet store bans for the past several years because they have had no impact on puppy mills. There continues to be the misguided view that there is a direct cause and effect relationship between retail pet stores and puppy mills. Over the past 7 years, there have been 340 retail pet store bans, pet sale bans passed, and there is still no evidence that any have resulted in the closure of a single puppy mill. There is one important question to ask animal welfare advocates who label all commercial breeders as puppy mills. Have you ever visited a USDA licensed professional dog breeder? If so, when, where, and what professional experience do you have to evaluate a breeding kennel? Retail ban advocates presenting stock photos of unlicensed, substandard, illegal kennel operations and linking them to responsible, best practice breeders is dishonest and irresponsible. While retail pet sale bans initiatives have passionate advocates around the country, the Humane Society
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Joseph Gow Jr. in Alton, New Jersey. And I'm just here tonight to talk to you about how shelters conduct business. I'm going to give you facts and statistics about that. The National Animal Interest Alliance Shelter Project indicates that less than 5.5% of shelter pets are of purebreds. Without Chihuahuas and Pit Bulls, the number drops to 3.3%. Therefore, except for those two breeds, less than 3.3% of shelter pets are purebreds. According to American Veterinary Medical Association's 2017-2018 pet ownership study, 76 million dogs live in the United States. The New York Times reported that 83% of all dogs in America are either spayed or neutered. The Washington Post reported that the recent demand for dogs reached 8 million. The ASPCA Pet Statistics website states that 3.3 million dogs enter shelters annually, and of those, 620,000 are reunited with their owners. This leaves a 5.3 million gap in demand for dogs in the United States. So to meet this demand, over 1 million dogs are imported for shelters in the U.S. every year because there are not enough dogs to meet the demand, according to the USDA's 2019 key report. Of those 1 million dogs, less than 1% are subject to thorough health screenings that ensure they are healthy and disease-free before entering the country. Shelters and rescues are not regulated. Unfortunately, more contagious outbreaks occur in the shelters than you would think. In fact, last month, the Monmouth County SPCA had to close for several weeks due to dog flu outbreak. So, in conclusion, if all these rescue groups are claiming there are too many dogs in the shelters, then why are they importing more than 1 million dogs into the United States per year? Thank you.